From as far as your eyes can see, Baringo's South sub-county looks green. However, the thorny green plant known as Prosopis juliflora, or Mathenge as it is known in Kenya, is a thorn in the flesh of the people living in 22 counties across the country where it has invaded. The weed is growing at a rate of 15% every year, covering about 4.9 million acres of land, according to the government.
This tree is a tree from South America that came to us many years ago. It has been introduced all over the world in the last 200 years. And so the first time it came to Kenya is 1948. It was planted by veterinary officers who worked for the colonial government at that time. And when it was first introduced, the good Prosopis was first brought into the country, and the species is Prosopis pallida. Now, Prosopis pallida is a good species. It does not spread. It grows very, very fast as well. It has a very good stem form. It produces very good wood that can be used for many products. So that is the first that was brought into the country in 1948. It was not until 1975 that another species very close to the pallida was also introduced.
This plant is a very hardy plant that can be able to adapt to hardy condition, dry environment. It can grow very, very fast. It doesn't require very fertile soils. It can also outcompete other native species of plants.
According to researchers, though the plant was introduced in Kenya for a good cause, it has turned out to be a threat to other flora and fauna.
We never had a lot of problem early 70s when it was first introduced until 1997, 1998. That's for the first time in Kenya where communities started complaining of Prosopis spread in the country. This was because of the bird species of Prosopis juliflora.
Given the rate at which the plant is spreading is high, researchers are warning that should it not be controlled, it will end up affecting the whole country.
This weed, I don't understand why it germinates very fast. It has now covered a large area. In fact, three wards. From a small region to 3 wards. Even the flow of water in the rivers is affected by Prosopis.
So Prosopis has become not just a livelihood issue, it has become a threat to national security.
When the goats feed on the pods of this plant, it affects their teeth. And that's why over the years you have seen the Aljamus community taking the national government to court. But to date, no answer.
It was introduced for purposes of controlling deserts and giving people products in terms of wood. It also has a very good fodder for animals. The fruits are very, very nutritious and very sweet, very palatable for animals.
At Salabani area in Baringo South, Francis Ole Kipirich shows us his 12-acre farm that was once covered by Mathenge, which he had to uproot to plant grass to save his livestock.
I started this project in the year 2009. And actually what made me to start the project, so that I had seen that my cows or sheep, particularly cows and sheep, they had no grass to feed on because of the infestation of Prosopis juliflora.
Farmers in the region were forced to uproot Mathenge to pave way for crops.
In a location like Salaban where we are, over 70% of the farmers have been able to manage Prosopis within their areas where their land is located. And right now it's mostly left now as a hedge plant or a live fence.
My livestock got pasture to feed on, enough pasture to feed on, but I also got other benefits. One, when these grass flowers, then after some time, when it reaches the maturity stage, then we can just harvest then we keep in bags. Then of course the NGO, that's RAI, which is actually working with Salabani community. So it buys. We have also an organization here known as Kerio Valley Development Authority. It also buys at higher price because KVDA buys these seeds at 450 shillings per kilo.
However, the government says it has come up with mitigation plans.
We're working together with KEFRI, who are our research entity, and they are giving us science and data that can inform Kenya Forest Service on its management responsibility. Remember, we have some certain factories for fodder for animals, feeds, that are being driven by Prosopis.
What we are looking at is to, first of all, provide the communities in the landscapes where we work with kilns or equipments where they can be able to then harvest Mathenge and convert Mathenge to charcoal, which then they can sell domestically, but also export if that production is big enough.
The same community as committees. They have come up with committees, courtesy of the discussion between us and the national government. They have a body that deals with Prosopis, and they map how they are going to harvest Prosopis.
There is hope that the government interventions will bear fruit for a balanced ecosystem. Dan Kaburu, K24, the voice of nature in Baringo County.